Hey, what's up everybody? This is another episode of my guide for new players in Ghost of Tabor. In this video, I'm doing a silo walkthrough, so I'm going to kind of tell you everything you need to know about silo, show you some different spawn points, show you where the boss can spawn, the boss Krtek, see the two different locations he can spawn. I will later be posting videos on tips on how to kill him and stuff like that. And then I'll just go over and show you where streamer items spawn, purple spawns, possible GPU spawns, whatever, backpack spawns. I'll get into everything. So this is one of the spawn points. You'll spawn right up here in lockers. I don't know what this is actually called, but I always just call it top lockers. This is pretty much the highest like looting room there is on the map. So all these lockers will normally have guns in them. I found AK Alpha in one of these lockers one time, and I found an AK-5C in one of these lockers one time. Obviously not in the same raid, but I've seen it. So if you ever come in here naked and you get this spawn, you're always guaranteed pretty much getting a gun. You can find GPUs in these lockers. I found a GPU in this locker before, this one specifically. So you get 3 lockers to loot in here. All these, you can see some food there. That wasn't that great, but boom, boom. This locker, and that's it. Nothing over here. Don't worry about going checking over here. Nothing over there. There can be a gun spawn right here, right on this box right here. There's a gun spawn. This table spawns guns sometimes. In this raid, it did not. See this table, AK-74, and this bed can spawn guns sometimes too. I think maybe this one also, but I normally see them spawn on this bed. So always make sure you check this stuff. I guess I can just take this with me for now. So moving on, when you spawn up here, my recommendation is, because this is going to be part of my walkthrough, because a lot of people seem to have trouble with this, all of this metal, anything that's metal textured like this, like the staircases on this map, someone can shoot you from down there through this, but you can't shoot down at them. Your bullets will not go through this. So don't waste your time trying to shoot somebody through this if you're up top. You're not going to kill anybody. But if you're down at the bottom, use that to your full advantage. And if someone's sitting here like this trying to peek over top, don't even waste your time. Just shoot them right through the floor and you'll kill them. Doesn't matter if it's FMJs, what you got in your gun. So normally you spawn here. I just like to immediately drop down this and go right into skull immediately. The other option you could do is go down to containers, which is one more level down. And you could find the crypto wallet in there, which can have a various amount of money on there. I've gotten one that's 193K. My friend's gotten one that's like 300 and some before. So it's definitely worth checking that. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a static spawn, but it spawns there a lot of the time. So getting into these squeaky doors, there's actually a trick to opening these quicker. You hear people sliding and sliding and sliding and dragging these. It takes forever. So what you do is you put your VR hand in between. Now you move your VR hand farther, your actual real life hand farther away, and then you just click the trigger and it instantly snaps the door open. Instead of doing all that. Alright, so there we go. Had to clear them out of the way real quick. So then you got a couple loot crates in here. This is the skull room. Everyone calls it skull room. That is the skull hallway to skull. If you go right, it takes you to silo or to office, or you can go left towards Krtek spawn, elevator, and garage. I'll get into that though. So starting off in skull room, you got this crate here. You have normally 2 Fennec spawns. Sometimes the game gets a little weird and there'll be one here, and sometimes they'll get aggroed down the hallway for some reason and they won't be in here. So if you're the first person here, you'll know because there will be Fennecs in here. If there's not Fennecs in here, or you see dead Fennecs through the crack of the door or something, you know someone either shot them from down the hallway or there's someone in there, so you kind of need to proceed with caution at that point. But this crate, 1 locker here, just a MAC-10. Just pick it up for the purposes of this video. Nothing really going on back here. You know, it's kind of a tough room to fight in. This hallway is really dangerous for people to push down, but it's also dangerous for you traveling across through this room. So a couple little things you could do. There's a crate here. So as you can see, I got a crate here. I'm not even gonna pick that up. Couple different things you can do. Just little tips in here. You can jump on top of these boxes. You can see if anyone comes through the door that way, if you're in here, and you can see hallway, and most people aren't going to expect you to be up at that level. They're going to come in, and yeah, they can see you about right here, but the moment you can see them, they might be worried about to the right, to the left, whatever. So you'll already be able to see them if you're peeking over that box, and you can also see that door. Another spot, this one's kind of ratty, but it does work. You can come in here if you're one of the first, jump on this pipe in the back. You can see right over these crates. It's extremely dark. You can shoot straight down the hallway, and you can also see anybody that comes through that metal door over there. So that's just another little spot. If for some reason you ever have somebody that comes back here to get the skull, because the skull spawns right here. It's not here this raid, but it spawns right on that crate. It's worth 20k, or you can use it to open the House of Scott on Matka. But if you're a new player, I would just recommend selling it to get that 20k. This is a loot box. There can be guns in here. I found AWMs in here before. This is Narrows. That's an extract back there. I'll get into that when I get to the extract point of this video. Gun spawn. Sometimes magazines spawn on this barrel here. But it's gun spawns too. There's this locker. SKS. Like I said, guns spawn like crazy on this map. So you can always find guns if you come in naked. This is why this map is really good for doing naked runs, because the raids go so quick and you can just stack guns very quickly. Bandage. Could be an NRS in there. Could be nothing in there. That's good to check. There's like a weird spawn right here. Sometimes like a pistol holster will spawn right here, kind of like floating in the air. And then sometimes one shots will spawn in the ground, like right here, that you can pick up. If for some reason, if you push into here, if you come down the hallway or you come down here and you think there's somebody in skull, you could sit here and watch them come out the door, but 9 times out of 10, they're gonna, guess and know that you're sitting there. So they're either gonna try to nade you, or they're gonna push out and they have a chance of knowing where you are. So what I like to do, a lot of people don't think you can do this either. You can jump right up on these crates right here, and you can see right over top, tight to the door, and as soon as they come out, you can just melt them. You are super exposed to that way, and you're kind of exposed to that way if someone comes down the hall. But if you're working with a teammate, you can have one of you sit here and another one watch the other areas, maybe from up there on the pipes, whatever. So that's just a couple little tips for guarding skull room and clearing skull room. We will work our way from this side of the map to that side of the map. So now going down to the level below this. This is where containers is. You got railroad tracks and you got containers. So there normally is a Fennec spawn down here. He walks around like right over here between the crates. One did not spawn this time, but they normally will walk around in like a circle right here. There is a spawn location behind that container that's on the railroad track right there. Behind that, there's... Oh, I got a Fennec right here. Whoops. I was going to get into that. But either way, behind there, player spawn. If the Fennec doesn't spawn here, it could spawn in containers. There's a player spawn here as well. So if you ever spawn back there or right here, the best thing to do is, if you didn't come in naked, immediately aim straight down this, because whether they run into Joker instead of coming this way, or if they come this way, you have a straight line of sight. Same thing goes for people spawning on that side. You should immediately run and check down here, because yeah, some people can come over here and climb up. I've never seen anyone use this. Never. In playing, I've never seen anyone use this. They always spawn here and go right up this ramp, which you are completely exposed if people spawn over there. So either spawn you get, always check this angle, pretty much. That'll help you out a lot. There's a gun crate here. It can have guns in it, mags, whatever. There's an ammo box there on that reel over there. Another med crate that can have bandages or NRS. That doesn't have anything this time. That bot that chased me out through here could have been the one from containers that spawned there. That's where I would most likely guess. But there's also a bot spawn right there by the bottom of the staircase. So sometimes that'll aggro on and run up the stairs after you, or it could have been the one in here. So in this room, this is an extract, and there's also a couple things you can loot. This is a little crate. You could get purples out of that. See, this is the crypto wallet I was talking about. This is the one that can have a various amount of money on it. Sometimes it's thousands, sometimes it's just could be a couple $100, could be hundreds of thousands. So it spawns right here on this oil drum. So always check for that, and it's so small you can fit it in any bag you got, no matter how packed it is. You can fit that. It's worth taking. It's got a, you know, it's worth the chance of you getting a lot of money from it. So then there's an armor crate here. Nothing at this time, but you know, armor crates can spawn various levels of armor, any level of armor basically, but collector gear can possibly spawn in here, so that's always worth checking. This is an extract point, as you can see. This is containers extract. There's one crate here, a couple attachments and things like that I'm not too worried about, but I'll just put them on here for the hell of it. But you can find guns spawn in there, whatever. When coming to this extract, I will say the places you got to be most careful of, people camping. If there's somebody trying to camp extract in here, people like to peek this right here to watch that door. Some people like to hide right behind this box because you can actually see through the crack, and they'll never expect that. You could jump up here, so like just beware when you come in this room or this area. I've also seen a couple people sit in the dark right back here because the light right there kind of attracts your attention more, so people will sit right here. And then the other one is, you know, a fairly common one that you might have even been killed by someone sitting in this spot. Some people will either camp right there behind the light, or they'll jump around these boxes right here and sit right behind this, or they'll sit in that corner, that tight corner over here, and wait for you to come up to extract and just light you up. So always check your corners when you're coming into this area, especially. It's a hot spot for people because a lot of people like to come get that crypto wallet. So it's always a chance that there could be people in here. Okay, so now moving on. All the way down is taking you into sewers. There's a couple spawns down here I can show you. But this is a Phoenix spawn. Sometimes a Phoenix will spawn right here. Like attachments and helmets and just random things can spawn right here on this box. Nothing did in this raid. You can find helmets and, you know, different things like holsters and stuff like that in here. There is a spawn right here in this hallway, midpoint right here. If you get this spawn, I would recommend either going and checking bottom Krtek, which we'll get into where that's at, or immediately coming up here. And what I like to do is I like to rush here first, see if anyone spawned at these places, get rid of them, go grab that crypto wallet if it's there, check for guns and vests if you come in naked, run back out immediately, and look up. Because a lot of times what will happen is people up in that cabinet spawn, they'll rush skull like I was talking about. And what did I say? If they drop down, you can shoot them right through this floor. So easy. So you storm up here, it's easy kill. And normally what I do is just peek into skull when this door is cracked. If there's Phoenix in there, I don't worry about it. I run straight up the top. Obviously, you want to stay facing this the whole time. But I go straight up the top as fast as I can, clear your corners, go in here and loot this. Because like I said, if it's not looted, there's a very high chance if you get guns. Like any guns, it could be anything. Like I said, I've even gotten alphas and everything in there. So it's definitely worth checking out. So dropping back down the sewer in the meantime. The other spawn that's over on this side. Here, we'll turn the flashlight on so you can see a little bit. The other spawn is actually right back here in this room. So, you can kind of do the same thing. This is another spawn. I would either recommend, like I said before, pretty much either going and rushing Krtek immediately, seeing if Krtek's down here and just try to wipe him out. If you're someone that's coming in low kitted or even kitted. But if you are coming in naked, I would definitely recommend going this way up and go through the map that way, because the other option is you actually can go up the elevator ladder and you could loot elevator first and everything, but there's not really gun spawns in there. You kind of get like handguns and there's an adventure bag spawn in there, but you're not, and there's a chance of GPU, purple, etc. But I wouldn't recommend doing the ladder way because there's so many spawns up top that people can get to that extremely fast. And, you climbing a ladder, you're really vulnerable to any of that. So, before we get into sewer and the Krtek, I'll go back up and show you the rest of upstairs first, because I feel like that's the easiest way to do it. So, going back up here. Oh my gosh, come on. Leave me alone. Alright, so, going down Skull Hallway, like I said, you got two options. So the way this works, this metal works the same way as before. So as you can see, I can shoot through the metal that way. You see that? I can shoot through the metal that way. This way, you cannot shoot through that metal. So don't even waste your time. Oh, never mind. Maybe you can. It never worked for me. Okay. Okay. Anyway, going back up to Skull now. Just going right up them steps, going right back up the Skull. I'm not going to show you this room again. I already showed you. Skull hallway is extremely dangerous. Moving down, because there's a couple areas you're extremely vulnerable to. Depending on where you spawn, people could be coming behind you. People could be hiding behind this box right here. People could be at each one of these corners, and then also they could be creeping right behind this door, if not just eyeing over this junk right here, waiting for you to walk by. So always make sure when you come down this hallway, you're kind of staying vigilant on all those areas and just being careful when clearing it. You can jump over this. It gives you like a weird thing sometimes though, where your screen will turn black, so it takes practice, but you can do it. The other side's easier to come over this way. If you go left at this hall, Krtek garage and elevator over that way, and then also the link over to Silo. And then you can go right this way, which is taking you to Silo directly, or you can go into office. So we're going to go check out office first. There's normally like a tackle box spawn and stuff here. I've seen guns spawn here sometimes, but most of the time it's a tackle box right there. Going down this hallway, it's really dark, so be careful. You can go ahead and open this crate, just some attachments. I actually like that red dot better than the one I had, so we're going to take that. Moving on down this hallway, as you can see, it's kitchen extremely dark, so when you're pushing it, it's just be very careful, because people like to be ratty and sit back in that dark spot. This is the purple vault, so if you get a purple key card, you put it in here, purple vault in there. Check this corner, check these corners, check everything really good when you come into each of these areas. This is also a spawn location. There's two different spawns you can get in here. One is roughly where I'm standing here, and the other is right in here. You're going to spawn right back in here, roughly. So there's a streamer item here. Tweaks cheese is here. Viper's hot sauce will spawn right on this corner right here, but we didn't get that this raid. These each sell for 20k. Just make sure you use the proper selling method that I showed in a previous video in this series. There's a purple spawn on this top shelf right here, so always check that. And then if you get it, I would recommend running it immediately to get you some stuff. I've seen a GPU on this shelf one time, and I spawned here, so I know it wasn't like hidden by a player. There was a GPU that spawned right here, so always check that even though it's dark. Another ammo box here. Opening this med cabinet, you know what spawns in there by now. And then this room actually has a lot of opportunity for different loot, man. You can get all kinds of grenades. I would check all these cabinets and see what you find. I didn't find anything good in this one, but you can check this. Look, there's a handgun for us right there. I didn't bring one in, so I can go ahead and grab that. In these drawers, I'm honestly not too sure if purple can spawn in all these drawers, but I know. So I've found purple 4 times on this map. I found it 1 time spawning on that shelf over there that I showed you, and I found it 3 times in this drawer right here. I found purple 3 times in that drawer, so make sure you always check these drawers, even though it's tedious and it's weird, but always check it. Going over, checking this one out. Let's see what we got going on here. Grenades, stuff like that. Guys getting thirsty. Check this. You can get guns in here, attachments, etc. Whatever. And then over here, there's more like, either modules or helmet spawns, knife sheaths spawn in there. So make sure you check all this stuff out. And then moving on now, we will go to Silo side. So Silo side has multiple things you can do. If you wanted to play really campy, you can climb all the way up the ladder and sit up top on these higher decks, but there's nowhere for you to go. You're just sitting up there, and like I said, you can get shot to the bottom of this, so it's dangerous, just like that Phoenix is trying to shoot me right now. Alright, so moving on, you can run around this here, And okay, so there's another spawn over here once you come across silo. There is Fennec spawns right here, so be aware of them. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's two. There's really no loot in this area, minus the crate here, which, as you can see, another med box, so you can get NRSs, whatever. And down this ladder, or these steps, same thing, same danger, people can shoot you up through it. There's one box down there that you can loot, and you can also drop down through that ladder to go to sewer. And that's also another spawn point that I will show you later on when we get more down into depth on that. The spawn point over here, this locker is always good to check. It normally has guns in it, AK-74s and stuff like that. There's an ammo crate here, but there's actually a spawn back in this room. You spawn right here, and then there's a couple things you can loot back in here. It's normally not anything really good, but it's worth checking if you are, new to the game and you need stuff in general, or you're doing a naked raid. You might be able to find a grenade or something. So you can come check that, and then moving on from there, like I said, you'll be coming out this way. There's a Phoenix that spawns over here to the left, and then that'll take you either down into sewer if you choose to go down the steps, or you can run around the silo over to office where we came from, or you could drop down silo to sewer, like however you want to play. This map intertwines really well. So coming over here, the next nearest player spawn besides spawning down there is here through garage. There's a bunch of things that can happen. As you can see, there was two right here, but there is sometimes one walking around here. Sometimes, as you can see, there's some over there. The spawn point that's over here. Oh, come on, man. Jeez. Okay, so another spawn point you can get is actually back in this area here. If you get either one of these spawns, I recommend rushing top Krtek pretty much first. The top Krtek area, and I will show you where that's at. So if you spawn here, whether you're naked or not, it's worth checking. Open this locker up, see what you get. Sometimes it's all kinds of different guns. Like what did we just find in this locker? We just found an AS Val. Yeah, AS Val in that locker, which is nuts. So we'll just take that and use that for the duration of this video. But yeah, so if you go to the right here, that's actually an extract. The garage extract is right there. And here's another little loot crate right here. That is down to the elevator shaft. If you choose to loot that, or you want to go down to the bottom and go to Krtek that way, or try to get behind the people going to Skull, you can do that. There's a box back here you can loot. Medical crate. We'll go ahead and loot the elevator so I can explain some things to you. So up top, there's actually an extract point up there. Just be careful because some people camp it. So you're just gonna jump here. You can slightly open the door and then do the snap trick that I showed you. Adventure bags spawn here. So, adventure bags will spawn there. Not all the time, but that is a chance that can happen. So it's worth checking, especially if you come in with a sling or come in with no bag at all. This will spawn helmets and modules and things like that. Ammo box, pretty self-explanatory. Med crate, self-explanatory. Filing cabinets, you can get GPUs and such in there, so it's definitely worth checking that out and seeing if there's any of that in there. You can get purples in these, so that's always good to open. And then there's another ammo box. So moving on, instead of me dropping down, if you drop down, you're going to land at the bottom of the elevator shaft, which is by the spawns I showed you in sewer that are over towards the Skull side of the map. So going back this way, if you run right through here, sometimes the Phoenixes will chase you, so be careful. There's a cabinet here, AK-74U. Nobody ever really loots this crate back here for some reason, but you can find attachments and, purples and everything else back here, so I always recommend at least checking it. You can find grenades and whatnot too. So this room is extremely dangerous because you can see how dark it is, so when you come in, just kind of proceed with caution. But if you rush in here off the rip, that spawn straight across that we ran out of over there is the closest spawn point to this. So this is going to be, you're going to be the first one here if you rush immediately. Just when you cross through garage, beware of left because the people spawn over there may do the same thing. So you get in a little gunfight there by garage. Same thing if you spawned on that side and you come this way. Beware of that spawn over there across the hall. Another med crate. Okay, so now this is where you're kind of gonna get into a lot more of your conflicts. Right here, you can run into many different people. You can run into the people that spawned bottom over there on the side where I showed you that spawn is over there on the bottom down in the sewer level. They can run up and go up the ladder in the silo and come across here very quickly, or the people coming out of office can be coming right through this hallway. And then you can also get the people from that spawn that I showed you over there running all the way around and coming right through this door and trying to either push to here, or they're pushing to skull or going to office, but you can see people here. There's a little ratty spot you can kind of do that some people will use. They'll sit up on top of that. There's a gun spawn here. Sometimes it's crap, sometimes it's decent. Like that's the AK-47. That's actually not too bad. So the Krtek spawn is actually in here. So what I would recommend doing, sometimes the goons will spawn to the left here. You'll be able to see them right by that crate. So just kind of go slowly across this corner. And then same thing when you're going around this way. Just be very cautious when you're crossing here, because Krtek can spawn. This is one of his locations. Here's another cabinet, another AK right there, grenade. I'll actually take that just in case we get Krtek bottom spawn, so I can show you the best method to do that. Just, you know, normal attachment box and some other things, guns can be in here. Check this armor box, same thing, just be armor, but I found a tier 6 in here one time. I found a tier 6 in there. Most of the time it's brawl straps or LBAVs. Up top here, not a lot of people loot it, but it's worth it because, you know, you can find M4s in here, whatever. You know, just junk box. Another one, you can find purples in there. But once again, this kind of flooring, you can get shot up through it. So just be extremely careful when you're up here. Try to be as quick as you can, because anyone pushing in, you ain't going to be able to shoot them, but they can shoot you. Okay, so now, moving on. This is another extract point right here. This little room, be careful. A lot of people use it to fight Krtek, but this is an extract, as you can see right there. We're not going to worry about that right now, because I actually don't really use that room to fight Krtek. I'll explain that in the video that I make about how to fight him. And then you're back to Skull Hallway. Okay? So, and office and everything. So, we're actually going to go down. Where the hell is he at? I don't see him. Whatever, I ain't worried about it. If he hurts me, he hurts me. So you can go down the ladder there to the bottom of Silo. And I'm going to show you the other way that you can go. You can go, like I said before, if you spawn over in this spawn, you can check that locker. You can come right down these steps here. That's the quickest way to do it. You come right down these steps. There's a crate here. Sometimes there's a Fennec spawn in this room, so just beware. If you get the spawn that's down here, sometimes you will spawn literally right down here. So you can either run that way through Silo towards Krtek, you could climb up the Silo and go towards office, or revert back, or you can climb this ladder, take the steps, and go however you want. But this is another spawn location here. Nothing good in that box, but you can find, you know, handguns, grenades, stuff like that. Okay, so now look, we're in here. There's the Phoenix. He's running around. He can't shoot me through that. I'm gonna try to shoot him. So you can shoot right through that stuff, but he can't shoot me. So, like I said, you can climb up this ladder right here. That level right there, that's where you're gonna go to office. Quick chime in. Realize I missed it after I already ended the video. So, coming into containers, like I showed you the rail, like I showed you that spawn over there. This is the other spawn I was talking about that you can spawn in behind the rail car. This area is Joker. That's what I call it, because there's a big Joker painting on the wall. But you just come right through this little corridor here. There's a couple different ways you could do it. You can go right through here and go directly to Joker room, and there's a couple loot boxes in here. You can get a couple guns and whatnot. I realized it later on that I actually messed up and said it, and you'll see it later in this video, that I said when you come up the ladder right above the entry to the sewer area, if you go straight up a floor, that takes you to office and everything. That's not true. You got to go up another level. So as you can see, that's actually the way to office and everything. So if you're all the way bottom, you have to climb up to the 3rd landing. If you want to come to Joker, you just climb up to the 1st one. You can come Joker that way if you spawn at that spawn that's at the bottom there. So yeah, I just wanted to chime in and at least let you guys know that since I missed it real quick. Running straight through this tunnel here is going to take you back over towards the elevator where I showed you before, where the spawns are. Phoenixes can spawn here. There's like 3-4 of them that can spawn in here in this little sewer area. And there's the elevator shaft. There's the bottom of the steps. There's the static spawn for the, not static spawn, there's the spawn for the Phoenix that I was talking about before. Remember the spawn locations, boom, back there, right there. Here we go, we got some pouches and stuff like I showed you before, and then, you know, the whole thing. Up, level 1, containers and rail section. Up one more level, skull, squeaky door. Up the 3rd level is your lockers, your bathroom / infirmary, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's, you know, your area you can find a lot of guns. Up there takes you back to garage or the elevator shaft where you can find the adventure bag. And then this is the 2nd Krtek spawn that is possible. So I would be careful. Normally, sometimes you can see the goons from here, but most times you can't. It doesn't really happen until you get here, and I would hug this left side, and you just peek it ever so slightly, and they normally spawn all around right here. So if you get him, that's a very good thing, because it's not a very high percentage chance that he spawns, but he's not too hard to kill, and you get a ton of gear from him, especially if you have like a buddy. You come in with a duo and you kill all of those goons, because he has 3 with him normally. Sometimes it could be 4, but most of the time it's 3. And then him himself, they all have good gear, they have good guns. Sometimes they'll drop VSS's with 30 round mags that you can't even get until you're Spectre 5. So any of that is really helpful. MP7s, all kinds of stuff. It's worth killing him if he spawns. So the 2 locations, one here, one up top in the star ceiling room that I showed you, in between garage and skull. And then this box right here, normally there's junk in here. People don't even normally loot too much, but you can find purples and stuff down here, so I guess it is worth looting, especially if you're new. Same thing with that box. But other than these 2 crates, there's absolutely nothing back here. And that's kind of the conclusion for this map. There's really not much else I can do on it except for record the easiest ways to kill Krtek depending on which spawn, because depending on what spawn he gets, there is easier methods to do it than just you standing in the room or standing in this hallway trying to fight him. So I will be posting those in this series to help you guys be able to farm them easier and not die from them and struggle. So last thing, Narrows, I didn't really show you that extract, but I can explain it. When you're in the skull hallway that I showed you, like that little green area where the skull spawns on the oil barrel, if you continue past that and you walk straight down that hallway, there will be a broken section of the wall. You go through there, and that's another extract that's called Narrows. And then this is sewer extract down here, and this is the one I'm actually going to use for this raid. So I hope this little walkthrough of this map kind of helped you guys out. Like I said, the Krtek video will be in this series, so make sure you check that out too, because that's kind of an addition to this map. You know, when I do Matka, the city, when I do that, I will make a separate video on killing Collector than the video itself about the map. But I hope this helps you guys. This is probably one of the easiest maps to learn, the easiest maps to get loot on, and just the quickest. So like if you can only get on and play, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, whatever. This is, if you just run this map over and over again, man, the longest time you're going to be in one of these raids is maybe 20 minutes most, maybe. And that's like pushing it. So most of these games go by really quick. It's better than, in my opinion, it's better than running on island. I know there's more purple spawns there, and there's more GPU spawns there and everything else, but it's better than spawning on an island naked and having to run all over the place to find little junk stuff and then just dying, and then you were in there for 15 minutes. Or this, you'll die within 5-10 minutes if you're gonna die. Like if you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it out. So I would just recommend just spamming this map when you're fresh to the game. learn this one and then just go one map at a time. As you get better loot and things, start playing Island, because Island's another great map. Like I just said, they have a lot of good loot locations on there, and that's also a very good map to get your stuff built up on. But I would recommend starting out on this because it's the smallest one, easiest to learn, and you could get a raid where you get $60,000 worth of items. If Skull spawns, Viper's hot sauce and Tweak's cheese spawn, that's 60k right there just from that, not even including whatever else you could find. So now the chances of all three of them spawning are very slim. I don't think I've ever had all three. I've had 2 spawn for sure, multiple times. But that's pretty much all for this video, guys. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this little walkthrough of Silo so you guys can learn it. Hope it helps, and hope you guys can get a bunch of good gear from it by playing it. Like you seen, you know, as Val, you know, Spectre 4 gun just spawned right in the freaking locker. Took me 2 seconds to get it. If I would have spawned there, it would have took me 2 seconds to get that gun. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.